Hey everyone, it's Sanash here. I wanted to get on here because I wanted to share that this November the 10th is Neuroendocrine Cancer Day, and I am a survivor of neuroendocrine cancer. I've had it for almost 4 years now, 4 full years, and I've been living with it and managing it, and I'm so grateful to the community that has helped me get this far. One of the things that I have not done so well is really educate you guys about what neuroendocrine tumors are. And I've showed you some things, I've showed you my injections. I'll hashtag something. It's very minimal, but this week I want to, for the next 7 days, bring more awareness to this disease that so many incredible people are fighting and overcoming. And yeah, we need the awareness, we need the attention, we need the funding. It's really important because it is a rare disease. So, even when I was diagnosed, I had no idea what it was. And it's really important because we're finding out more and more people are actually living or have the disease, and we don't know about it because it's being dismissed, it's being passed off as something else. I think the current statistics are 6 in 100,000 people globally have neuroendocrine tumors. And that number is said to be rising because we are actually getting somewhere with better diagnostics. So there are people living with it that have no idea. And so we need to push for these diagnoses, and we really need to bring awareness. So I'm trying to do my part. So over the next 7 days, I want to share some more information with you, talk about my story, talk to some people who are going through similar thing, and yeah, just educate you. And I think the other thing that I really want to have happen is that I want to encourage you all, whatever you're going through, if you're feeling something in your body, if you're not sure about it, get it checked out. And I'm not saying that you have cancer or you're precancerous, but actually more and more people I find are finding that they are predispositioned for many types of cancer. And early detection, early screening, whatever it is, just knowing your body, getting checked out is so important because it is really life-saving and you can get ahead of it. So yeah, stick with me and hopefully you guys will learn something. Okay, what are NETs? Neuroendocrine tumors, we call them neuroendocrine cancer, or neuroendocrine cancers are made up of neuroendocrine tumors and neuroendocrine carcinomas. I don't really know the difference, but I know that I have neuroendocrine tumors. I'm going to try to share with you as much accurate information, but also share some links to websites where you can do a little bit of deeper digging. As I said, 6 in 100,000 people have been diagnosed. It is a rare disease, and you probably haven't even heard of your neuroendocrine system. Well, we have a neuroendocrine system, just like we have a respiratory system and an endocrine system and a reproductive system, et cetera, et cetera. And our body obviously is comprised of millions of cells. Each has their own function. Our neuroendocrine system has neuroendocrine cells, and these are present in our body, and they create a network to keep us healthy. And they do that by releasing hormones and peptides from different places in your body. So for instance, gut hormones and all types of other hormones to keep us well. And so they communicate with each other. And obviously when there's a problem, a malignancy, they can't communicate with each other and they can't keep us well. So this is where we are. It's pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward, but I'll get into where it gets complicated. So depending on the type of neuroendocrine tumors you have and what part of the body they are located in, these neuroendocrine cells release hormones for very specific functions. And this is how you can sometimes see when when your body's not functioning in this particular way, that there is a problem worth looking at. So for me, I have neuroendocrine tumors of the midgut, small bowel, sort of all in here. And my neuroendocrine cells are meant to produce hormones that help break down food, not only to help you digest, but also for the uptake of proper nutrition. So I can eat all the good stuff, but my body is not functioning well enough to absorb all of the good stuff that I'm putting in. So then there's a protocol that I need to follow to regulate that and assist my body in that process. In the respiratory system, hormones are produced for the development of our lungs and to help you regulate breathing. Your brain produces oxytocin and melatonin, which is very important. Adrenal glands produce the hormones that are important and control our fight or flight response. So that can affect your blood pressure and it can make you feel anxious. So you see there's things that are happening that might seem like, oh, pretty normal, but actually it's a telltale sign of, well, I shouldn't say telltale because again, it's not obvious, but again, those things can be related to disease and not just normalized, because I think that's a big problem with what's going on in the world today. We just put things off, and like we are getting sicker, our air sucks, our food sucks, everything sucks. I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but we really have to make so much more effort to be healthy. And this is why lifestyle changes and preventative medicine are so important, because you don't want to try to fix things when it's too late. You want to stay on top of it so then there's nothing to fix. Yeah. So let's talk about some of the symptoms. It could be anything, and they're so normal that you wouldn't be like, oh, I'm having this is cancer. It's not that simple. So things like anxiety, menopause, IBS, asthma, diabetes can be precursors, can be evidence of the disease. But I mean, I had asthma when I was a kid. I didn't have the disease when I was a kid. There are so many people that are diabetic that are not that don't have neuroendocrine tumors, etc. But that doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't a bigger problem. So I guess the lesson there is really just do your thorough work. Try to stay on top of your blood work. Diagnostics is really important in this field, and specific types of diagnostics. So just a quick sidebar, I went through 6 months of, I saw 4 doctors. I did multiple tests, and every time they told me I was fine. You're amazing. You're healthy. We don't know what the problem is. And I was like, but clearly I'm not okay, you know? So because I knew my body, I was able to really push and advocate, and I finally did get a diagnosis. So it's really important not to just play off or pass off these symptoms and really know what these are. And that's why I want to share them with you. They're the simplest things. So for instance, getting a bit deeper into symptoms, I had flushing of the face. I don't know what flushing is at all. Flushing the toilet, that's the flushing I know. Flushing queens, that's the flushing I know. Flushing of the face, and this is actually another really key point. If you're a person of color, you're not going to flush. Maybe if you're lighter skinned, but as a dark skinned woman, I don't flush. Flushing is usually associated with the color of your skin turning red. My skin won't turn red unless I'm sunburnt. So you would never see flushing. But when my symptoms persisted and got worse, my flushing turned to swelling, and then my eyes went bloodshot. And that's how I knew there was a bigger problem. That's when doctors were able to look at me and go, oh, you're flushing. But that flushing only lasted for about 5 minutes. So I literally had to take photos of myself and show them to my doctor and go, this is what happens. Because in the moment, it doesn't last. And so when you get to the doctor, you're fine. They're like, oh, you're fine. Well, we can't see anything. And they send you on your merry way while you're still struggling. So flushing, I just want to say, women, men, people of color, if you have darker skin, if you feel warm, if your eyes are bloodshot, if your face gets puffy, please pay attention to that. I was dismissed with hives, and that was not the case. Other things like digestive problems. I mean, everyone has digestive problems. You know, everyone has some kind of stomach ache or something. So again, when it gets persistent and turns into diarrhea, I think I went to the toilet at the height of the problems. I probably was using the toilet 7 times a day. Now I knew that was not normal, and anyone I would tell that knew that was not normal. But prior to that, my bowel function was actually really good. So again, pay attention to these things. Don't let someone just give you some stupid over the counter tablets and send you on your way. Shortness of breath, hyperglycemia, hypoglycemia. I know a lot of people will be like, oh, my sugar, my blah, 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 I need this. And they just think that, again, it's a singular issue. And sometimes this can be compounded. So again, it's not to make anyone a hypochondriac or freak out and be like, oh my gosh, I have these things. Do I have cancer? It's just that, again, if these symptoms are layered or if they're persistent, they're really causing you problems and they're disrupting your lifestyle, it's important to know them and go and get them checked out. Another piece of information, neuroendocrine cells are everywhere in your body, everywhere. So it is quite possible that you can have neuroendocrine tumors of the rectum, large bowel, testicles and prostate, cervix and uterus, ovary. They actually thought I don't know if they thought I had uterine cancer or neuroendocrine tumors of the uterus, but they did see some spots there when they were doing my abdominal ultrasound. And they sent me to go to the gynecologist to get it checked out. Thank God there was nothing there. So again, ladies, something to be vigilant about. The esophagus, duodenum, pancreas, stomach, liver, adrenal gland, breast, skin, lung, anywhere in your body, unfortunately. And so one thing I also want to point out is, I'm sure you all know Steve Jobs, and both Steve Jobs and Aretha Franklin passed away from cancer. What you may not know is that it was neuroendocrine cancer of the pancreas, not pancreatic cancer. And the distinction is very important because, again, it is important to know which kind of treatments are the best. The testing is different to get to that point. And yeah, it's important to also make mention of that because pancreatic cancer is a cancer that is very common and it gets a lot of attention, whereas neuroendocrine tumors do not. So yeah, I just wanted to share that. Rest in peace, Steve Jobs and Aretha Franklin. And the final bit of information that I want to share with you is how do you treat it? There is a silver lining, and there are several ways to treat the various types of neuroendocrine tumors, neuroendocrine cancers. For some people, their journey includes many. For others, their journey can include 1 or 2. I'm 4 years into my journey, and so I've had a few of these treatments. So basically, I already gave the first one away, surgery. Surgery would be great because if you can cut something out, remove a tumor, you are essentially resetting the clock. You're buying more time. And that is really important. You're getting out of crisis. And yeah, it can be the first line of defense or the second. Somatostatin analogs, which is basically, in layman's terms, it's like a needle, it's an injection. It's a synthetic hormone that your body produces, and this actually helps to manage the growth of tumors and provide a lot of symptom relief. So those things that I talked about, anxiety, diarrhea, stomach pain, those are really important. Embolization, chemotherapy, radionuclide therapy, other forms of oral chemotherapies and other targeted treatments, as well as holistic treatments that can assist in how you live your life. The goal is to live with this disease when you cannot eradicate it. That's where I'm at. I'm in living palliative care, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. Unfortunately, when I was diagnosed, I wasn't able to have surgery because there was extensive metastasis. Metastasis means that the disease has spread from the initial primary location. So you have a primary tumor, and sometimes you have secondary. Thank goodness I don't have secondary cancer, but it has spread. And because there is too much, it's too complicated. So what they're trying to do is treat me with the other treatments to manage the disease. So that actually was a silver lining, because I mean, God, you get a cancer diagnosis, the first thing you really think is you're going to die. And fortunately, I was given some hope. First of all, I rebuked the diagnosis. But when it turned out, when all the testing was done, and it did, in fact, show that I had this disease, I went straight into how are we gonna beat this? How are we gonna fight this? What we gotta do? And that was a lot easier because I was given some hope. And that's not available to everybody. And sadly, as I said, I'm not a surgical candidate. So anyway, here we are. I'm grateful that there are so many ways to treat it, and I'm still on this journey, and I'm going to share more about what my personal journey is or was with you later this week. Okay, that's it for now. Sorry, I tried to be as informational and to the point as possible, but without reading a complete script, it's really hard because it's so nuanced and there's so much to talk about. But I've got 7 days to do that. So thanks for joining me. Again, November 10th is World Neuroendocrine Cancer Day. And basically the day is committed to bringing awareness, celebrating ourselves, doing something nice for ourselves. I've got some really cool people that are doing some really great things on the 10th. So we're going to talk to those people as well. And I just want to thank you guys for tuning in, to all my friends and family for all their love and support over the past 5 years, because it started before I actually got diagnosed. And I'll see you tomorrow.